Hello children, let's come back to our maths class. In the previous class, we have completed with our exercise 3.4. Yes children? Yes. And today we are going to continue with a new exercise that is 3.5. Before going to exercise 3.5, we have some points to be taken down. So let's take down the points. So get ready with your classwork children. Take down your classwork. Take down your classwork. Write down today's date. Take down your classwork. Write down today's date. Have the habit of writing the date whenever you start a new class. Okay, children? Yes. Now, give the heading as points to remember. Give the heading points to remember. You have to write down the first point as rational root theorem, which is given in page 119. Take down page 119, 119. Now, have you taken on the point, children? Now, write on the theorem. What is that theorem? It's a rational root theorem. So, you have many theorems. You have to remember all the theorems, which will be useful for you to solve the sums, because we are not only writing the points for just namesake. We are using this theorem for the sums also. You should know the different theorems. So, this is a rational root theorem. Write on the theorem. Let an x raised to n plus dot 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 plus an x plus a naught with an not equal to 0 and a naught not equal to 0. So, they are saying that the first coefficient and the last coefficient should not be equal to 0. Be a polynomial with the integer coefficient. So, you can have an integer coefficient. You know the meaning of integer? Yes, it takes a positive value. It can take a negative value. So, and also 0. With integer coefficients, if P upon Q with that bracket PQ is read as LCM of PQ. Okay. What is the meaning of PQ? PQ means LCM of PQ is 1. What is LCM? It's 1. Is the root of the polynomial, then P is a factor of A naught and Q is a factor of AN. So let's write down the theorem. Write down the theorem. You would have started here, children. Okay, come on, go with the theorem. Write down. Let an x raised to n plus dot dot an x a1x, yes, a1x plus a naught. Let an x raised to n plus dot 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 plus a1x plus a naught with an not equal to 0. So with an is not equal to 0, and only the thing is you should not have an and a naught as 0. Other coefficients can be 0, but the first and the last coefficient should not be 0. With an not equal to 0 and a naught not equal to 0, be a polynomial with integer coefficients. You may ask, ma'am, you are saying that it should not be 0 and you are saying it is an integer coefficient. For the first and the last, it's not applicable. For others, you can have. Be a polynomial with integer coefficients. With integer coefficients. If P upon Q with PQ is equal to 1. If P upon Q with LCM of PQ is equal to 1. Okay, the LCM is 1. Is a root of a polynomial. Is a root of a polynomial. Okay, is a root. Suppose you have such a condition and you say that PQ is a root of a polynomial. Then P is a factor of A naught. Then P is a factor of A naught and Q is a factor of AN, and Q is a factor of AN. So what do you get here? P is a factor of A naught and Q is a factor of AN. So let an x raised to n plus dot 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 plus a1x plus a naught with an not equal to 0 and a naught not equal to 0 be a polynomial with integer coefficients. If P upon Q with PQ is equal to 1, that is LCM of PQ is 1, is a root of a polynomial, then P is a factor of A naught and Q is a factor of AN. Have you taken down this? Okay, now let's come to the second point. You can take down, this is number 1. You have to take down one more point, children. You have to write down uh, the definition which is given in page 120. Come to page 120. You should know what is a reciprocal polynomial. Write down the point. A polynomial px of degree n. A polynomial px of degree n is said to be a reciprocal polynomial if one of the following condition is true. A polynomial px of degree n is said to be a reciprocal polynomial if one of the following conditions is true. One of the following conditions is true. So what are the two conditions they have given? They have given that first one is p of x is equal to x raised to n p 1 by x. S raised to n p of 1 by x. Or you may have one more condition, p of x is equal to minus x raised to n. Very simple thing. Minus x raised to n p of 1 by x. So this is a definition for reciprocal polynomial. So you people have to know the definitions also. It may be asked for a multiple choice questions. They may give you some conditions and they may ask whether this is a reciprocal polynomial or not. So I'll be explaining you the first theorem. First theorem in our sum number, that is in 3.5 we have to use, in sum number 2. So okay, I'll tell you how to use this rational root theorem. Okay, so I'll be explaining you in detail in when we solve the exercise 3.5 sum number 2. Okay children, so let's go for point number 2. A polynomial px of degree n is said to be a reciprocal polynomial if one of the following condition is true. What are the one of the following conditions? It can be p of x is equal to x raised to n p of 1 by x, p of x is equal to minus x raised to n p of 1 by x. So these are the two conditions. If you have these two conditions, you can say that it is a reciprocal polynomial. Okay children, have you taken on the points? Okay, good. Now let's come to exercise 3.5. Come to page 124. Give the heading as exercise 3.5. That on the first question, solve the following equations. That on the first question, solve the following equations. That are the first subpart. Sine square x minus 5 sine x plus 4 is equal to 0. So sum number 1, first subpart is sine square x minus 5 sine x plus 4 is equal to 0. So this is the equation given to you. You are going to solve this equation. Sine square x minus 5 sine x plus 4 is equal to 0. Okay, have you done? Now, here we have the equation with sign, which is like we cannot solve this equation. We cannot factorize this equation with the trigonometric functions. So what we are going to do is we are going to assume this sin x as y. So we are going to just take this sin x as y. Let's see here. Put sin x is equal to y. I'm going to put sin x as wherever you have sin x, you are going to put it as y. So what you get when you put sin x is equal to y? You get this is sine square x, so it turns to be y square minus this is sin x. So you get 5y plus 4 is equal to 0. So what do you get children? Y square minus 5y plus 4 is equal to 0. Are you clear with this step? So what we have done, we have just replaced sin x by y. So wherever you have sin x, it is been written as y. You get y square minus 5y plus 4 is equal to 0. Okay, now this is a very simple thing. Now we can apply a t method and we can get the answer. So I'm going to draw a t over here. So this is 1, so no need to worry. I'll take the constant term, that is 4. And what is the coefficient of the middle term? It's minus 5. So you have 4 and minus 5. So let me work out to find the factors of 4. It's 1 and 4. I think I can apply this 1, 4. The bigger one is minus, okay. 1 minus 4 doesn't give you minus 5. Let me put for both the numbers as negative. So minus 1 minus 4 gives you minus 5. Minus 1 minus 4 minus 5. Minus 1 into minus 4 gives you plus 4. So what you get here? Y minus 1. Y minus 4 is equal to 0. I get y minus 1. Y minus 4 is equal to 0. So what is the value for y you get, children? Therefore you get the value for y as 1 or y is equal to 4. So what we get? Y is equal to 1 or y is equal to 4. Now I am just going to replace it again. I don't want the answer in terms of y. I want the original one. So what I have taken y as? I have taken y as sin x. That is, I have replaced sin x as y. So in place of y, I am going to put sin x. So I'll get here. Therefore, sin x is equal to 1 or sin x is equal to 4. Just stay on the steps, children. So sin square x minus 5 sin x plus 4 is equal to 0. So what we have done? We have just replacing sin x as y. So when I replace sin x as y, I get a equation y square minus 5y plus 4. So when I solve this, I get the answer as y is equal to 1 or y is equal to 4. Now again I am resubstituting the values as I am just changing y as sin x. I get the value for sin x as 1 or I get the value for sin x as 4. Now, coming to the step over here. Now just see here, children, sin x is 1 or sin x is 4. Now here, sin x is equal to 4 is not possible. Why? Because we have studied that the value for sin x lies between minus 1 and 1. The same thing goes for cos x. The value for cos x lies between minus 1 and 1. So you will not have a value for sin x is equal to 4. So somewhat you have to choose the first value, that is sin x is equal to 1. Are you getting my point, children? Why I am saying that it is not possible? Because we have studied that sin x lies between minus 1 and 1. Yes, in our class 11 we have studied the domain and the range, and also we have studied that the sine function is going to lie between minus 1 and 1, and the cosine function is also going to lie between minus 1 and 1. So the sin x is equal to 4 is not possible. So you are going to take the next one. You are going to say that sin x is equal to 1. The sum is not stopped over here. We have some more work here. So the 1 will be written as, what is the value for 1, children? It's sine of pi by 2. Sine 90 is equal to 1, yes? Sine of 90 is 1. So I'm going to write it as sine of pi by 2. What is the value for 90? You can write it as pi by 2. 180 by 2 gives you 90. So let me write down. So I'll put here sin x is equal to sine of pi by 2. So what is 1? The 1 is taken as sine of pi by 2. Clear? Now, we have a condition. We have studied in our 11th standard a general form of this. If you have sine x is equal to sine y, okay, sine x is equal to sine y, then x is taken as n pi plus minus 1 the whole raised to n y. So what is the condition? If you have sine x is equal to sine y, you can write down x is equal to n pi plus minus 1 the whole raised to n y. Are you getting my point, children? So now here what you have sine x is equal to sine y. So this can be written in this form. So you can write down this is equal to x. Okay, so x is equal to n pi as it is plus minus 1 the whole raised to n. What is y here, children? This is x, and in place of y what you have? Pi by 2. So you got n pi plus minus 1 the whole raised to n pi by 2. We have only one more step. We have one more step over here. The sum is not done here. We have one more step to complete our answer. Till here, is it clear, children? So this is n pi plus minus 1 the whole raised to n pi by 2. Now what I am going to do is, I am going to replace this n by 2n. What is the thing we are going to do? Wherever you have n, you are going to replace it by 2n. So let's replace. Write down. Replace n by 2n. What is the next thing we are going to do? We are going to replace n by 2n. So what do you get here? Therefore, x is equal to n. Here n is there, so I get 2n pi plus minus 1. The n will become 2n pi by 2. So I am going to replace n by 2n. So I'll get x is equal to 2n pi. So wherever you have n, you are going to put it as 2n. So n becomes 2n pi plus minus 1 2n into pi by 2. Let's try to simplify this part. So what you get when you simplify that part? I'm just going slow, children. So understand this step. This is a 3-mark question. You get this type of question as 3 marks. So I'm just going to find out the value for this. This is minus 1 and this is 2n. 2n means it is a multiple of 2. If you multiply by 2, what happens to the negative value? I know that 1 raised to anything is going to be 1. If 1 raised to 10, 1 raised to 100, 100. But here we have a negative sign. But now let's talk about negative sign. I have a negative sign here and here the powers are multiples of 2. That means you have 0. Anything raised to 0, it's going to be 1. 2 into 1, 2. So minus 1 into minus 1, plus 1. If you have 2 into 2, 4. That means 4 times. That means it is an even multiple. If you have an even multiple, you are going to get a positive answer. See, minus 1, 2 into 0 gives you minus 1 raised to 0. Anything raised to 0, 1. Minus 1, 2 into 1. So minus 1 raised to 2. Minus 1, plus 1. Minus 1, 2 into 2. So 4 times. 4 times means minus, 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 minus. 4 minus, 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 plus, minus, minus, plus. You get a positive answer. So whatever values you put, you are going to get a positive answer. So what will be the answer? Let's write down the answer here. Therefore, x is equal to 2n pi plus. So this part becomes 1. What is the answer for this? The answer is going to be 1. And what is left? Pi by 2n pi plus pi by 2. You put here n belonging to z. So this is the answer for the first subpart. 3.5 2n pi plus pi by 2. And you don't have any solution for sin x is equal to 4. So this is the final answer. Okay. Are you clear with this first sum, children? Hope you are clear. Let's go for the second sum. Take down the second subpart. I have to do the second subpart because this is a new, already we have done this type of sum but very long back. So we'll be doing with the second sum. Okay, let's go for sum number 2. What is the sum given to you? It's 12x cube plus 8x is equal to 29x square minus 4. You know the second subpart. Shall I rub this? Have you taken on the answers? Okay, good. So the second subpart, 12x cube plus 8x is equal to 29x square minus 4. 29x square minus 4. This is the equation given to you. 12x cube plus 8x is equal to 29x square minus 4. The first thing is you are going to arrange all the terms on one side. You are going to bring all the terms on one side. Let us bring all the terms on one side. So what we get here? We get 12x cube. This is plus 29x square. So when it comes to this side, minus 29x square plus 8x here. Okay, in the same part. So don't change the sign. 12x cube is on LHS. 29x square, I am going to shift from RHS to LHS. So minus 29x square. This is plus, what is that? Plus 8x. And this is minus 4. It is on the RHS. When it comes to this side, it becomes plus 4 is equal to 0. So I get 12x cube minus 29x square plus 8x plus 4 is equal to 0. Are you clear, children? So the sign of 29x square and 4 changes. That's all. Now here we don't have any particular value. This is a cubic function. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take one of the values and I'm just going to find out. So I'm going to take start from 1. I'm going to take minus 1. Then I'll take 2. Then minus 2. It's a trial and error method. Okay, children. So consider let p of x is equal to 12x cube minus 29x square plus 8x plus 4. I am considering the px as, I am considering the polynomial as 12x cube minus 29x square plus 8x plus 4. Now I just don't know what is the root. I'm just going to solve the solution. What is the meaning of solve the equation? You have to find out the value for x. So I have to find out. So I'm just going to go for a trial and error method. This type of sums we have done in our 9th standard, if you just remember. So I'm going to take x as 1, then I have to get the answer as 0. We have to go on choosing the value till you get the answer as 0. Once you get the answer as 0, we can stop there and we can say that particular value is a root of the given equation. So I'll start from 1. So P of 1 is equal to, so wherever you have x, you have to put there 1. So this is 12, 1 cube minus 29, 1 square plus 8 into 1 plus 4. No need to simplify, children. We can just look at the sum and you can just find out whether it's going to be 0 or not 0. So this is 12 minus 29 plus 8 plus 4. We cannot cancel any terms. See here, this is 12 plus 8, 20. 20 plus 4, 24 minus 29. So you can take the positive term 12, 8, 20 plus 4. So 24 minus 29. Here I solved. If you don't want to solve, we can just stop here. We can just say from here it's not equal to 0. So I get 24. I'm just taking the positive values first. So 1 cube is 12. 1 square is 1. So 29 into 1, 29. 8 ones are 8 and plus 4. 12 plus 8, 20. 20 plus 4, 24 minus 29. So 24 minus 29 minus 5. So I get the answer not equal to 0. So we have found the first one. We tried for the first one, that is we tried for P of 1. When I tried for P of 1, I got a value minus 5 which is not equal to 0. So I have to go for one more value. Let me try for minus 1. Or you can use that methods. I have told you to check, add all the coefficients or take the even powers and the odd powers. You can check by that method also. That also you can do for 1 and minus 1. Okay children? Now, let me go for P of minus 1. So wherever you have x, you have to put as minus 1. So what you get here? 12 minus 1 cube. X cube means minus 1 the whole cube minus 29. This is minus 1 square. Okay. Plus 8 into minus 1 plus 4. So wherever you have x, you are going to replace it as minus 1. So 12 minus 1 cube minus 29 minus 1 square plus 8 minus 1 plus 4. So what you get here? Minus 1 cube minus 1 into minus 1 into minus 1 minus. So minus 12. This is minus 1 square minus 1 into minus 1 minus minus plus. So this is plus, you have minus 29. This is minus 8, this is plus 4. This answer is not going to be 0. Here minus minus minus, so you are not going to get a 0 answer. All the numbers are different. You don't have any same numbers which can be cancelled. If you want, you can simplify it. It's your wish. But here the answer is not going to be 0. Now let me take the next number. I'll take P of 2. Let me find the value. It's 12. 2 cube minus 29. 2 square plus 8 into 2 plus 4. 12, 2 cube. Wherever you have x, you put 2 cube minus 29, 2 square plus 8 into 2 plus 4. So 12 into 2, 2 into 2 into 2, 8. 29 into 4 plus 16 plus 4. Which means what you get? 12, 2 cube minus 29 into 4 plus 16 plus 4. I'll add all the positive numbers. 12 is a 96 minus 9 4s are 36, 8, 11, 116 plus 16 plus 4, 20. I got 96 minus 116 plus 20. I'll add the positive number. I get 116 minus 116 which is equal to 0. So I found a 0. I took P of 1. I got an answer which is not equal to 0. I took P of minus 1. Again I got an answer not equal to 0. Then I took P of 2. When I took P of 2, I got a value 0. Okay children, so what are you going to say over here? We are going to say that write down here. Okay, I'll continue here. So we got the answer as 0. So you can say therefore x is equal to 2 is one of the root. Now we dealt with the equation which is a cubic equation. We had the highest power as 3. If the highest power is 3, that means how many roots you're going to get? You're going to get 3 roots. But now we have just got only 1 root. So we have to find out 2 more roots. Let's see how to find out the remaining 2 more roots. So now you are going to so what you have here, you have P of 2 is equal to 12 into 2 cube. Yes, and we got the answer for P of 2 is equal to 0. So now we are going to use the synthetic division method. Do you remember the synthetic division method? Yes. So the one root is found. How you got this one root? We got the root by trial and error method. We considered the equation, we took the value 1, we tried, we took the value -1, we tried, we did not get the answer 0. Then we took the another value, it was 2. Yeah, we got the value as 0. Now you have concluded that x is equal to 2 is one of the root, and here we have to get 3 roots and only one root is done. So now we are going to use the synthetic division method and we are going to find out the remaining factors. I am going to just write on the coefficients of the polynomial. So what is the coefficient of the polynomial? The equation was, or the polynomial was 12x cube minus 29x square plus 8x plus 4. Yes, children, this was the equation. So write down the coefficients 12 minus 29, 8, 4. I hope you people remember the synthetic division method. Yes, you were thorough with this. Yes, children. So write down the coefficients and we have found one of the roots. So put the root over here. Take the root as 2. So write down 12 minus 29, 8, 4. Now we had considered one of the root as 2. So how to simplify this further? You're going to take the first number as the same. You're going to take this 12 over here. The first number will be taken as the same number down. Now I'm going to perform the calculation. So 12 into 2, 24. First number I'll be take as it is. That's 12 will be written as 12. 12 2s are 24. Minus 29 plus 24. What is minus plus? Minus. 29 minus 24 gives you 5. The sign is minus. The bigger number is minus. You get the answer as minus 5. So 12 you write down there. So 2 into 12 gives you 24. So minus 29 plus 24. What is minus plus? Minus. So 29 minus 24 gives you 5. The sign of the bigger number minus 5. So you are going to multiply again with this two number. You are going to multiply minus 5 and 2. So what you get here? Minus 5 into 2, minus 10. Minus 5 into 2, minus 10. What is 8 minus 10? It's minus 2. Plus minus minus. 10 minus 8 is 2 and sign of the bigger number minus. Minus 2 into minus 2, minus 4. Yes. We got the remainder as 0. So what we got here? 12 minus 5 minus 2. Are you clear with the synthetic division, children? We are going to write down only the coefficients along with the sign. So 12 minus 29, 8, 4. The first number will be taken as it is. 12. 12 2s are 24. Minus 29 plus 24 minus 5. Minus 5 into 2 minus 10. So 8 minus 10 minus 2. Minus 2 into minus, what's minus 2 into 2? Minus 4. So 4 minus 4 gives you 0. So write down. Therefore you get 12x square minus 5x minus 2. So what do you get? You get 12x square minus 5x minus 2 is equal to 0. So we got an equation. We are getting a equation. What is the equation we got here? This is constant. This is x. This is x square. Go from the back. How to form the equation? A constant term, the x term and the x square term. So 12x square minus 5x minus 2. Okay, if you have one more number here means it will be cube. So always go from the last. So minus 2 minus 5x plus 12x square. A constant term, a x term, a x square term. Constant, x term, x square term. So you get 12x square minus 5x minus 2 is equal to 0. Okay, children. So now what are we going to do here is, we are going to factorize this and we are going to get two more values of x. Shall we find out? So I'm going to use a t method again here. I'll use a t method. 12 into minus 2 is minus 24 and this is minus 5. Take the coefficient of the middle term. I get minus 24 and minus 5. On the top of t I get minus 24 and on the bottom of t I get minus 5. Clear? Now let's try to factorize 24. So 24 is 1 into 24. Not possible. Then 2 into 12, not. 3 8s are. Yeah, I can try for 3 and 8 because I get the difference is 5. So 3 8s are. Okay. 3 into minus 8. 3 into minus 8 minus 24 and 3 minus 8 gives you minus 5. So 3 into minus 8 minus 24 and 3 minus 8 is minus 5. That's minus 24. Okay, so I got the value. Now here you have 12 on the first term. That is we have a coefficient for x square that is 12. So we have to divide by 12. If you have 1 here, we can directly take the value. But here we don't have 1. We have a number 12. So divide by 12 and divide by 12. So 3 1s are, 3 4s are, 2. I can take this by 4 table. 4 2s are, 4 3s are. We get here 3 by 12. So what we have done, I'll just explain to you once again this part. It's minus 24 and you have minus 5. I have chosen this 3 and 8. So 3 into minus 8 gives minus 24. 3 minus 8 gives minus 5. Okay children. Now we have the coefficient for x square that is 12. So you have to divide by 12. You have to divide by 12. So 3 1s are, 3 4s are. 4 2s are, 4 3s are. So what is left here? X plus 1 by 4. X minus 2 by 3 is equal to 0. So write down x plus 1 by 4, x minus 2 by 3 is equal to 0. So now let's come to the final answer. So it was a cubic polynomial. So we have to get 3 roots and already we have found one root as 2 and here from here I get 2 roots. Well, right, therefore roots are, it's 1 by 4, it will become minus 1 by 4. And this is minus 2 by 3. So it will turn to plus 2 by 3. And one more root. Yes. The roots are minus 1 by 4, 2 by 3 and 2. Clear children? So we have found the answer for the second one. That's minus 1 by 4, 2 by 3 and 2. Clear? Let's go for one more sum. Straight on the second question. Examine for the rational roots of. You are going to examine the rational roots. I told you that we will be using the rational root theorem for sum number 2. Let us apply that theorem and let's find out the answer for this. And this is a very interesting sum, children. Very interesting sum. And let's see how to do this sum. Have you completed the second one? Are you clear with the second sum? The first question, second sub part was clear to you? Okay, good. Now take on the second question. Examine for the rational roots of. Examine for the rational roots of. Okay. Right on the question, it's 2x cube minus x square minus 1 is equal to 0. 2x cube, sum number 2, 2x cube minus x square minus 1 is equal to 0. Okay, this is the question and we have to find out a rational root over here. Now children, they have said that you have to find out an and you have to find a naught and they should not be equal to 0. So what is the first coefficient here? It's 2. And what is the last constant term here? It's 1. So write down here an is equal to 2 and a naught is equal to minus 1. Are you clear with this part? So you can just refer your theorems. So they have taken the first term and the last term and they are saying that the first coefficient and the last term should not be equal to 0. So an is equal to 2 and a naught is equal to minus 1. So here we have found an and a naught. What is an? An is 2 and a naught is equal to minus 1. You write down the theorem here. If P upon Q is a polynomial, if P upon Q is a 0, okay, if you are assuming that this is a 0, if P upon Q is a 0 of a polynomial, then PQ is 1. What is the LCM of PQ? The LCM of PQ is 1. So P must divide A naught. We have seen this. Yes, P must divide A naught and Q must divide A. And just come to the theorem, children. Just come to page 119. Yes. See, children, if P upon Q with PQ is equal to 1 is the root of polynomial. They are saying that if P upon Q is a 0 of a polynomial, then PQ is 1. That is, the LCM is 1. Then what is the condition they are given? P is a factor of A naught. What is that? P is a factor of A naught and Q is a factor of AN. Q is a factor of AN. So I'm just, in place of factor, I'm just writing divide. That's one and the same. So P must divide A naught. What is A naught? Yeah, minus 1. And Q must divide AN. What is AN? 2. So put here, P must divide minus 1 and Q must divide 2. Right. So first of all, you write AN. What is AN? You have AN as 2. You have A naught as minus 1. We are just using the rational root theorem. So if P upon Q is a 0 of a polynomial, then the LCM is 1. So P must divide minus 1, that is A naught, and Q must divide AN, that is 2. Are you clear till here? So just the theorem. We are just using the theorem. That's all. We have not done anything else. Now, so what are we going to do is, we are going to write down the possible values of P. Write down possible. Therefore, possible values of P are. How to find out the possible values? Let's find out the possible values. How you write the possible values of P? Now this is 1. Okay, children. So you have to write the factors of 1. So what you'll write for factors of 1? It is 1 only. Here it is minus 1. So you have to write down as minus 1, 1. So what are the possible values of P? Minus 1 and 1. That means minus 1 goes in the table of 1 and minus 1. Minus 1 into 1 is minus 1 and 1 into minus 1 is minus 1. So what are the possible values of P? Minus 1, 1. Write down the possible values of Q. So possible values of Q are, actually see children, 2 means how you write the factors of 2. You'll say 2 is equal to 1, 2. The factors of 2 is 1, 2. So instead of 1, you have to put minus 1, 1. And in place of 2, you have to put 2 and minus 2. So that are the possible values. Are you getting the point? So 2 means 1, 2 we write. Yes. For 6 means how you write? 1, 6 are, 2, 3 are. So what are the possible values of 6? When you consider this rational root theorem, you have to write plus minus 1, plus minus 2, plus minus 3 and plus minus 6. So what are the possible values of Q? Minus 1, 1, minus 2, 2. Clear? So we have written the possible values of P and also we have written the possible values of Q. Clear? Now, let's go for the next step. So you have to find out the fractions over here. So write down the fractions. So using the values of P and Q. So using the values of P and Q, the fractions formed are. We are going to form the fractions. What are the fractions formed here? See, using the values. So I'm going to use the values of P and Q and I'm going to form a fractions. So I'm going to form the fractions as, take this number and divide by all the numbers. You get minus 1 upon minus 1. Be careful children, see. Minus 1 upon minus 1. Then minus 1 upon 1. Then minus 1 upon minus 2. Then you have minus 1 upon 2. Okay, so I have divided by the first value. So minus 1 upon minus 1, minus 1 upon 1, minus 1 upon minus 2, minus 1 upon 2. Now let me take the next value. That's 1 upon minus 1, then 1 upon 1, then 1 upon minus 2 and 1 upon 2. So what are the possible values we have got here? What are the possible fractions I have got here? Minus 1 upon minus 1, minus 1 upon 1, minus 1 upon minus 2, minus 1 upon 2, 1 upon minus 1, 1 upon 1, 1 upon minus 2, 1 upon 2. Okay. Now try to cancel, we have to just take one value. So we don't want two values. Just here we have some values repeated. See, this is minus 1 upon 1, it's 1. Yes, what is minus 1 upon 1? It's 1. Minus 1 upon 1, it's minus 1. Minus 1 upon minus 1 upon 2, that is minus 1 upon minus 2, it's 1 by 2. This is minus 1 by 2. This is minus 1, so no need to consider here. This is 1 again here. This is minus 1 by 2 and this is 1 by 2. So enough. So write down here, that is okay. So using the values of P and Q, the fractions formed are minus 1 upon minus 1, minus 1 upon 1, minus 1 upon minus 2, minus 1 upon 2, 1 upon minus 1, 1 upon 1, 1 upon minus 2 and 1 upon 2. So when you just simplify it, you get 4 values and again you get the same 4 values. So no need to take the repeated values, just take the possible values. Okay children, now what is the work is, we are going to assume this as P of X and we are going to take one value and we are going to simplify it and we are going to check whether you get the answer as 0. The answer that gives you, that is the value that gives you 0, is the root of the answer. Are you getting my point? So are you clear till here? So we got the equation. We found the value for an, that is the first one, coefficient. The a naught is a constant term. So this is the condition that you get from the theorem. So P must divide a naught, that is minus 1, and Q must divide 2. So you should know how to write the factors. So this is minus 1, so you'll write minus 1, 1. The factors for 1 is 1. So you'll write minus 1, 1. The factors for 2 is 1, 2. So for 1 you'll write plus minus 1. For 2 you will put plus minus 2. So using the values of P and Q, you have to make a fractions. So minus 1 upon minus 1, minus 1 upon 1, minus 1 upon minus 2, minus 1 upon 2. Then 1 upon minus 1, 1 upon 1, 1 upon minus 2, 1 upon 2. To get the fractions, try to simplify it. Do not repeat the fractions. So I have just got the 4 values. That's 1, minus 1, 1 by 2 and minus 1 by 2. Now write down here. So Px, I am just going to consider the equation as Px. So let P of x is equal to, what is the question? It's 2x cube minus x square minus 1 is equal to 0. So this is the question, yes. So Px is equal to 2x cube minus x square minus 1 is equal to 0. So I am going to try for all the values. Okay, here I'll just put Px is the equation, don't take the value 0. So write Px is 2x cube minus x square minus 1. Come on, let's put all the values. So I'll take P of 1 first. So P of 1 is 2, 1 cube minus 1 square minus 1. 2 minus 1 minus 1. 2 minus 2 is 0. So I got P of 1 is equal to 0. So I can say, therefore x is equal to 1 is a root. I found the answer, but still I have to check for some more values also. So find for P of minus 1. So 2 minus 1 cube minus 1 square minus 1. So wherever you have x, you put as minus 1. So 2 minus 1 the whole cube minus 1 the whole square minus 1. This is minus 2. Minus 1 square is plus 1. So minus 1 minus 1, which is not equal to 0. Minus 2 minus 1 minus 1. So what you get the answer as minus 4. If you want, you can put the value minus 4, which is not equal to 0. So I have tried. So we can say that minus 1 is not a root. But I am not concerned about what is not a root. I just want the value which is a root. So I got the answer as for 1 as 0. So I say that x is equal to 1 is a root. Let me try for the remaining values 1 by 2 and minus 1 by 2. Come on, try for P of 1 by 2. And so 2, 1 by 2 cube minus 1 by 2 square minus 1. And try for P minus 2 minus half the whole cube minus half square minus 1 minus half. 2 half cube minus half square minus 1. 2 minus 1. Therefore, x is equal to dash. Come on, find out the answer. Your homework will be from second question, the second subpart. You're going to follow the same method and you're going to find out the rational root of it. So that's the homework, one sum. I'll just give you some more sums for homework. You try complete the answer, we'll check the answers. Have you completed the sum, children? Have you found the value for p of half? Let's check the value for p of half. It's 2 half cube minus half square minus 1. So 2, 1 by 8. 1 into 1 into 1 is 1. 2 into 2 into 2, 8. Minus 1 by 4 minus 1. So you get here 1s are 4s are. So 1 by 4 minus 1 by 4 minus 1. So what is the answer you get here? Minus 1. This is equal to minus 1, which is not equal to 0. So I found the value for p of half. That's 1 by 4 minus 1 by 4 minus 1. That's minus 1, which is not equal to 0. I don't want the answer without 0. I want a value which gives me 0 answer. Let me go for the last part. 2, this is minus. So I get minus 1 by 8. 1 by 2, the whole square is 1 by 4. Minus 1 into minus 1 plus 1. 2 into 2, 4. So I get here minus 1 by 4 minus 1. So I get here minus 1 by 4 minus 1 by 4 minus 1. So minus 2 by 4 minus 1 minus 1 by 2. So this is a big calculation. I thought I'll finish it here. Okay. I'll just, so 1s are 4s are. I get here minus 1 by 4 minus 1 by 4 minus 1. They are the same numbers with the same denominator. So I can write down here minus 2 by 4 minus 1. So I get minus 1 by 2 minus 1 minus 3 by 2, which is not equal to 0. I get answer minus 3 by 2, which is not equal to 0. I hope you are clear with the calculation part. Here I get 2 into minus 1 by 8. That's minus 1 by 4 minus 1 by 4. This is minus as it is. And this minus turns to be positive. So I get 1 by 4. So minus 1 minus 2 by 4 minus 1. 2 1s are 2 2s are. So you get minus 1 by 2 minus 1. Cross multiply. Minus 1 minus 2 upon 2. So minus 1 minus 2 minus 3 upon 2. So what is the answer you get there? You get the answer as minus 3 upon 2. Are you clear, children? Just write down the values. So we have found the answers using a rational root theorem. So I just told you that I'll be just dealing with this theorem when we start with the sum. So you have to use the rational root theorem. You have an equation given to you. You have to find out the an, that is the coefficient of the first term, and then you have to find out a naught, which is the constant term. Write down an and a naught. You have to say that p upon q is a root. Here see, why I say p upon q is a root? Because we were talking about the fractions. We considered the fractions. So what is the meaning of p upon q? It is a rational number. Yes, children? So we considered the fractions. So but when we solve, we get the answer. Now 1 upon minus 1 is minus 1. So for this sum, I got the answer as an integer. So when I wrote the numbers in form of fraction, I got the answer in integer form. Then you have to just take the numbers only once. You are not going to take the numbers twice. Just take the number once. After taking the number once, you have to just put the values in the given equation and solve it. And once you solve, you have to get the value as 0. If you get the answer as 0, that particular value becomes a root. So in this case, which is the root here? X is equal to 1 gives the answer 0. So you have to say the final answer. Therefore, x is equal to 1 is a rational root. Mention the answer, children. Therefore, x is equal to 1 is a rational root. So we have found the answer using a rational root theorem. Clear? And I have given you some homework part here. You are going to complete sum number 2, the second subpart. I have done the first subpart and you are going to do the second subpart as homework. Complete the second subpart, and along with the second subpart, you are going to complete 2 solved examples. You are going to complete 3.23 and also you are going to complete 3.24. So I have given you 2 sums from the solved examples. Okay, children. So try to practice. We are just trying. We are going to reach the final. By this, we are going to complete 3.4. Children, we have some more sums in 3.4. We were doing with 3.4 already completed. So we have some more sums in 3.5. And when we complete 3.5, we will have only one more exercise left out. So we'll be reaching our reaching the completion of our unit 3. So just do not waste your time. Utilize your time and try to complete all the units, and you know how to prepare your units. You have to go for the solved examples, exercises, yes, book back sums, and also the multiple choice questions, and also try to find out the definitions and the important points that is given in that particular units. Okay, children. So we will be continuing with the remaining sums in the next class.